It happens at the grocery store. It happens at the gas pump. You look at the final total and wonder, how did it get this bad? We tend to blame local politicians, corporate greed, or just bad luck. But the reality of modern economics is far more complex and, frankly, far more fragile. Welcome to InEssence. Today, we are going to untangle a web that most people never see. We are going to look at how a localized conflict, a drone strike in the Red Sea, or a territorial dispute in Eastern Europe can travel across oceans, bypass borders, and directly extract money from your bank account. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It is the cold, hard math of the global supply chain. To understand why your morning coffee, your bread, or your electronics are suddenly eating up your paycheck, we have to follow the dominoes. And the very first domino to fall is always the same: the heartbeat of the global economy: energy. Let's start at the source. The global economy does not run on money. It runs on energy, specifically crude oil and natural gas. When a geopolitical conflict erupts near major oil-producing nations, global markets experience an immediate panic response. Commodity traders sitting in London or Chicago don't wait for the oil to actually run out. The mere threat of a disruption sends the price of Brent crude and West Texas Intermediate, the global benchmarks for oil, skyrocketing. Why does this matter to you? Because of a concept called energy intensity. Everything around you right now, the screen you are watching this on, the clothes you are wearing, the food in your fridge, had to be physically moved to get to you. Massive container ships, cargo planes, and the 18-wheeler trucks that deliver goods to your local supermarket all consume enormous amounts of diesel and jet fuel. When oil prices spike by 20% in a week, the logistics cost of every single manufactured good and agricultural product on Earth rises with it. But energy is just the beginning of the nightmare. The global supply chain relies on a maritime highway system, and just like your local commute, it has severe bottlenecks. We call these choke points. Take the Suez Canal, for example. Roughly 12 to 15% of all global trade passes through this narrow strip of water, connecting Asia to Europe and beyond. But what happens when the waters leading to it become a war zone? When missiles start flying, maritime insurance companies hit the panic button. The war risk premiums for a cargo ship can jump from a few $1,000s to hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight. For many shipping giants, it simply becomes too dangerous and too expensive. So they reroute. Instead of passing through the canal, these massive vessels carrying billions of dollars worth of goods have to sail all the way around the continent of Africa. Let's do the math on what that actually means. This detour adds anywhere from 10 to 15 extra days to a voyage. That is 2 extra weeks of burning millions of gallons of fuel. It requires paying the crew for extra weeks at sea. It causes massive congestion at destination ports because ships arrive off schedule. And who absorbs this multi-million-dollar logistical nightmare? Not the shipping company, not the manufacturer. The cost is quietly baked into the final retail price. You pay for the detour. Now, if you live in a developing nation or an emerging market outside of the United States, there is a third, even more devastating domino coming your way. It is a silent killer of wealth known as imported inflation. When global stability is threatened, international investors get scared. In economics, capital is a coward. When war breaks out, investors pull their money out of riskier emerging markets and flood it into what are called safe haven assets. Historically, the ultimate safe haven is the US dollar. As trillions of dollars flow into the US currency, the dollar becomes incredibly strong. But currencies trade in pairs. A strong dollar automatically means that almost every other currency in the world weakens against it. Here is the fatal flaw for the rest of the world. The most essential commodities on Earth, oil, natural gas, wheat, soybeans, corn, are priced and traded exclusively in US dollars. So, if you are a flour mill in Southeast Asia, Latin America, or Africa trying to buy wheat to make bread or noodles, you are suddenly hit with a double penalty. First, the actual price of the wheat went up because of the supply chain issues we just talked about. Second, your local currency has lost its value, meaning you need to spend far more of your own money just to buy the exact same amount of US dollars to pay for the wheat. You are essentially importing inflation directly into your country's borders without a single shot being fired on your own soil. This brings us to the end of the line. The local factory, the bakery, the food manufacturer, they are now paying double for energy, double for shipping, and double for raw materials due to currency depreciation. They cannot absorb these losses, so they pass them on to you. But they know that if they double the price of a loaf of bread, you might stop buying it entirely. So they deploy psychological economics. Welcome to the era of shrinkflation. Instead of raising the price from $3 to $4, they keep it at $3, but reduce the weight of the product by 20%. You are paying the same amount of money for less food. It is an invisible tax levied by geopolitical instability. The missile strike in the ocean, the rerouted cargo ship, the panicked currency investor, and the shrunk bag of groceries in your kitchen are all part of one continuous, unbroken chain. The global economy is an absolute marvel of human engineering. It allows a smartphone designed in California, assembled in Asia, with minerals from Africa, to arrive at your doorstep in 2 days. But that hyper-efficiency came at the cost of resilience. We built a system with zero margin for error. So the next time you see breaking news about a conflict in a country you've never visited, don't just change the channel. Pay attention, because it won't be long before that conflict shows up on your grocery receipt. Thank you for watching InEssence. If this breakdown helped you understand the chaos of modern macroeconomics, hitting the like button helps this video reach others who are wondering why their wallets feel a little lighter these days. Subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that run our world, and I will see you in the next one.